Hi, I'm Miss Itab, and this is English lecture from the platform of Al Mustafa University College for first grade. We'll talk about relative clauses. Relative clauses are used to give additional information about a noun, such as a person, place, or things. We use relative pronouns to introduce a relative clause. They include who for people, that and which for things, when for time, and whose to show possession. Relative clause. We have two types of relative clause: defining relative clauses and non-defining. Number 1. Defining relative clauses. Add essential information to a sentence. Essential information. That means it have to be in the sentence. It have to be in the sentence. For example, the woman who found my wallet handed it in to reception. Another example, the student whose dog has run away has gone to look for it. The first sentence we use who because we talk about person, women. The second sentence we use whose because we talk about we talk about a dog that the students have it. Okay? These clauses give essential information about the subject of the sentence. They define the person, time, or thing that we are talking about. If we remove the clause, the sentence doesn't make sense. If we remove the clause, the sentence doesn't make sense. Now, number 2, non-defining relative clause. Non-defining relative clause. Add extra information to a noun or noun phrase. For example, my friend's birthday, which was last weekend, was great fun. My current girlfriend, who I love very much, calls me every night. This extra information is not essential. If we remove the clause, the sentence still makes sense. If we remove the clause, the sentences still make sense. This type of clause is more common in written English. This type of clause is more common in written English. How to make a sentence and use relative pronouns. That will be noun plus relative pronouns plus rest of a clause. Okay? For example, the man who came for lunch was my uncle. The man who came for lunch was my uncle. Another example, winter is a time when it sometimes snows. Winter is a time when it sometimes snows. Now, we talk about non-defining relative clause are made in the same way. We can use non-defining relative clause in the same way. An important difference, however, between both types of clause is the use of punctuation. With non-dividing relative clause, we separate the clause with commas. We can't use that in this type of a clause. We can't use that in this type of a clause. That means we can use that with dividing relative clause, but we can't use that with non-dividing relative clause. For example, my favorite food, which used to be Italian, is now Japanese. My favorite food, which used to be Italian, is now Japanese. I can't use that here. I can't use that here. Why? Because it's non-dividing relative clause. Because it's non-dividing relative clause. So that we can use that with dividing relative clause, and we can't use that with non-dividing relative clause. That's enough today. Thank you very much.